Alright there folks, and welcome to a bit of World Cup coverage on the channel. This is just a bit of a roundup really, or a bit of guesswork on my part, a bit of group qualification, and who I think will win it, Brazil, and Golden Boot info, and a little bit of, just thoughts on that really. So I thought I'd put it together, and we may as well get started because there's 8 groups to get through, lots of games. So let's kick off, shall we? So, groups in front of you now. A through to H. You'll all have your own personal favourites. Let's start, conveniently enough, with Group A. So, this contains Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Uruguay. Obviously, if you don't know the World Cup format, it's a round-robin tournament, effectively. Top 2 teams go through to a round of 16. Obviously, 32 teams divided by 2 equals 16. Good maths. So, who have we got in Group A? Obviously, we've got hosts Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Uruguay. Some interesting games there, particularly, I think, Egypt against Uruguay, because you've got the battle of the Liverpool goal scorers, really, in current in Salah and former in Luis Suarez. But let's see who we think then is going to go. So they'll go green if I tipping them for success. Russia, home crowd. The boost of being the host usually means a team will qualify through. Rarely has it happened in the past where a host nation has gone out in the group stage. It's every chance, but Russia have got so much experience. They've got 2 players with over 100 caps in their squad, in Ignishevich and Akinfeev. Goals, though, a bit of a problem. Smolov is their leading goal scorer in the squad. 12 goals for him, and Zuba with 11. So there's goals to be scored, but I think they will score enough goals, especially given the relative ease of their group, perhaps. I know you might think Egypt have got Salah on their side, and indeed they have, but there is doubts over his fitness after the, what should we call it, Ramos Gate? The On Gate? Whatever. So yeah, will they have enough goals? I think they'll just about do it, and it's only going to be second place for them. I think Uruguay are the other team to go through. They've got vast experience. They've got Maxi Pereira there, leads the way on 125 caps. This is probably the group with the most caps in it, by the way. Godin, Rodriguez and Cavani, all with 100 caps plus, and Suarez with 51 goals. So certainly no problems with goals for them. They should walk this group comfortably. Sadly, that means that Saudi Arabia and Egypt will be going out in the group stages for me. Despite Salah's 33 goals for his country, and of course he scored an absolute shed load in the league this season for Liverpool and in European competition as well, so he can do it on the big stage. I think it's the rest of the team around him, to be quite honest. I don't think they're going to be able to keep the goals out of their own net, so they might well score a few, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep enough clean sheets to stay in games. Certainly got experience on their side. They've got Essam Al-Hadari, 158 goals as goalkeeper. 158 goals, caps as goalkeeper. Also leads the side as captain. Ahmed Fatih as well, 126 caps for him, so they're no stranger to playing internationally. And Saudi Arabia as well, admittedly, another player, Osama Housawi, 135 caps for him. He's captain of the Saudis and leads the team in defence. They'll be hoping their goals come from Mohamed Al-Sawali. He's got 28 goals internationally, so not too bad. So I think let's move on to Group B, and straight away the 2 teams at the very top. You can see Portugal, Spain, big teams for Europe, and then Morocco and Iran making up. Well, they won't want to make up the numbers, but that's likely what's going to be the case. I myself tip in Portugal and Spain to be group qualifiers. I'm not sure what order. You'll have to make up your own minds, and that sadly would mean Morocco and Iran departing very early on. Interestingly, though, Spain, of course, a bit of an issue with them. Have they become the Holland or France of this year's, or this tournament? Sacking their manager, Lopetegui. I don't know how you say that. Replacing him with Fernando Hierro just days before the start of the tournament. So is there going to be any kind of infighting in the team? You've got to say, though, Sergio Ramos, 152 caps for him. That's a huge amount of caps. They've got a few players, though, over 32 now, so likelihood is probably their last World Cup. Iniesta, Monreal, David Silva and Pepe Reina, all 32 or over. Probably not going to be seeing them on the international stage. It'd be interesting to see who steps into those shoes. I'm sure they'll have someone ready from the Barcelona or Real Madrid academies. Portugal, what more to be said? The current European champions, of course, Ronaldo, 150 caps and 81 goals in those 150 games. I mean, he leads the team, and it doesn't really matter about what's going on around him. He always delivers. As I say, Iran, coached by Carlos Queiroz, a name familiar to many people. They've got some experience in their side. Ehsan Hajsafi. I should really learn these names. 94 caps in defence and goals coming from Sardar Azmoun. 23 goals for him. Morocco, no real experience. They've got very few players with any significant caps and very shy on goals as well. Ayoub El-Kabi, with just 11, is their top man. But they have got players that you might recognise, especially if you do play FM. Hakim Ziyech of Ajax, Mehdi Benatia of Juventus, and a bit of a youngster, Ashraf Hakimi, contracted to Real Madrid, but I don't believe he's really broken into the first team as yet. So that's Group B. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward, that one. Group C, though, France, Australia, Peru and Denmark. You'd probably say France nailed on, and I would too. Who comes after those, though? You've got Australia, Peru and Denmark, and I think it's anyone's guess as to who takes that one. France, big players left out of the squad in Benzema, Martial, Lacazette, but when you're blessed with the goal-scoring talents of Griezmann, 20 goals for France, and Giroud is their top goal scorer in the squad, 31 goals for him. Admittedly, a little bit surprised that Benzema's left at home, but maybe some issues outside of football have come into play there. Lloris leads the way, he's captain, 98 caps for him. So France, under Didier Deschamps, who knows? Definitely could easily be one of the big players at this tournament, and they should walk this group no problem. But he finishes behind them. I'm going to go for Peru. That might not be a popular choice, but I think they'll just be able to. The flair should take it away from Australia and Denmark. Peru, obviously, Paulo Guerrero permitted to play. He's allowed to go against or to play despite a ban that will continue after the World Cup, which is a little bit odd, but fair enough. 88 caps for him and 34 goals. Jefferson Farfan is a big name as well. He's got 84 caps and 25 goals, and he plays in Russia. That might be a deciding factor. Already acclimatised, of course. A lot of these players, perhaps not. The first time they've probably played or visited this country, but that's my tip anyway. It does mean Australia and Denmark, of course, dropping out. Australia, I mean, they've got obviously the great Tim Cahill, 106 caps, 50 goals for him, which is a phenomenal achievement. Almost a 1 in 2 strike rate for the small but very, very powerful in the air central midfielder. They've also got a young lad, Daniel Arzani, just 19, 2 caps, 1 goal. Apparently he's tipped to be quite the player, so if you are going to be watching Australia, which you probably are because everyone likes to watch every game, then keep an eye out for him if he makes an appearance. In terms of Denmark, apart from Christian Eriksen, 78 caps for him, 22 goals so far. It's a little bit slim pickings without Bentner, isn't it? Lord Bentner not selected. William Kvist is leading cap or appearance maker, I'll say, 80 caps for him. So yeah, I think Denmark probably just glad to be there, and why wouldn't you be? So let's move on to Group D, which includes Argentina, Iceland, for great tournaments in the last Euros. A chance on now on the world's biggest stage, Croatia and Nigeria. Again, it's a difficult group. You'd say Argentina should walk it, and again, I'm going to agree with that. But then who finishes next place? Who finishes in that second slot? Personally, I've gone for Croatia. I think Iceland's not luck, but I think Iceland won't surprise many people this time round. And Nigeria, I'll come on to them in just a minute, but I think they'll be struggling for goals. So I think with Argentina, obviously you've got Mascherano, 143 caps, coming to the end of his career now, but still huge experience at this level as well. Messi, 64 goals, Higuain, 31 goals, and Aguero, 37 goals. Argentina have got goals everywhere, so they should walk this, no problem. Croatia have got experience in Modric, over 100 caps for him, and Mandzukic as well. Just 30 goals, but I mean it is international goals in Europe. That's a good strike rate. So I think Croatia should go through, no problem. Iceland, as I say, they've got a little bit of experience in Sævarsson. He's got nearly 80 caps, and Gylfi Sigurdsson leads the way, 19 goals. So they don't have a huge amount of goals in the team. They rely obviously on probably a counter attack, but you never know. If they get a few free kicks and Sigurdsson can whip them in, then they're more than capable. It seems that Nigeria has a point, as I say, a little bit goal shy. Ahmed Musa, their top goal scorer in this squad, 13 goals for him internationally. Not a bad record, but he just, he doesn't really play up front. He plays wing. Okay, yes, he's acclimatised to Russia. He's played there a lot. He had a bit of a failed spell with Leicester in the Premier League. I just don't see them having enough firepower, despite obviously, Stoke have just signed one of their players, so I might change my mind on that. I think they're going home with Iceland early days, and that's a shame because they've got apparently the best kit. Anyway, Group E: Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica, and Serbia. Brazil always go green. Brazil. I mean, what can you say about Brazil? Neymar, 85 caps, 55 goals. It's a squad that you'd expect. There's no huge surprises in it as far as I can tell. They should walk this, no problem. Again, they seem to always be drawn against Switzerland as far as I can remember. And it is Switzerland who I think will chase them down in second place. And Switzerland expect probably to qualify into the knockout stages, but that's probably all they'd expect to then go out to whoever they meet in that next round. Brazil obviously would expect to go much further. Sadly means Costa Rica and Serbia sending home. But why is that? Switzerland, obviously they've got Lichtsteiner, rumoured to be joining Arsenal. He's got 100 caps dead on, so hopefully he'll be aiming to get to at least 104 after this World Cup. And it's the great man himself, Shaqiri, who has the most goals for Switzerland, 20, which is pretty good, but a little bit concerning probably for Switzerland given that he plays wing. Switzerland perhaps in a bit of a Stoke conundrum. They just don't score enough goals, but they have got Shaqiri. So I think Shaqiri will see them through if he plays at his full potential. Costa Rica have got a few players with good experience, as you'd expect from South American teams. Chelsea Borges with 113, and Brian Ruiz used to be a Fulham, of course, 110 caps and also 24 goals, leads the way for goals for them. And Serbia, Branislav Ivanovic, 103 caps, acclimatised to Russia, plays for Zenit, and goals, Alexander Mitrovic, experience with Fulham and Newcastle, of course, 16 goals for him for Serbia. Not going to be enough, in my opinion. I see them on the first playing home, perhaps with 2 defeats in the first 2 games, assuming they don't play Costa Rica. They might beat Costa Rica. Who knows? Group F: Germany, Mexico, Sweden, South Korea. That's quite a nice blend. Germany will be quite happy with that, I think. Sweden aren't what they once were with Zlatan, and I think Mexico should easily walk this group with Germany alongside them. Again, sadly, Sweden and South Korea bobbing home at the first call. Germany, Thomas Muller, 91 caps and 38 goals. He is the top goal scorer and top appearance maker for Germany in this World Cup squad. I found that a little bit surprising that they haven't got a player with more goals, but that's what it is. Ozil just follows behind on 90 caps. So it's perhaps not it's perhaps not as strong Germany as you might expect. Obviously, given how strong they were in the last World Cup, you just think that maybe they'd have a little bit more oomph about them. But it's what you're going to get with Germany: efficiency all the way through, and you wouldn't be surprised if they manage another win. Mexico, huge amount of caps. Rafael Marquez has got 145 caps. He's aged 39 now, of course, but this surely his last World Cup. An incredible achievement for the former Barcelona man. Also on 145 caps is Andres Guardado. Phenomenal achievement, 145 caps. And Chicharito, Javier Hernandez has 49 goals for Mexico. So they've got goals and experience throughout. They should be able to play their way through Sweden and South Korea, no problem. Be interesting in that game against Germany and Mexico to see who wins out. So Group G, if you're interested in England, and, well, I am, I suppose. Difficult one, isn't it? Belgium. mostly made up of Premier League players, they're going through, in my opinion, along with England. I just think it's not that England are a fantastic team, as I'll come on to in just a minute, but it's just that Panama and Tunisia just don't have the quality or experience to deal with the Premier League players of England and Belgium. Effectively, Panama and Tunisia are playing World Cup select 11s, or 23s if you extend it a little bit, with a bit of a blend mixed in for Belgium. Taking a look at Belgium, obviously, it's Jan Vertonghen with 102 caps and Lukaku with 36 goals. So, are they coming of age? Is this golden generation for Belgium about to deliver, finally? Maybe, maybe not. I think they'll probably best England, but after that, maybe they'll run out of steam. I think as soon as they come up against a France or an Argentina or a Brazil, that's when they'll be found lacking. England-wise, I'm concerned a little bit about the number of caps and goals in the team. Leading appearance maker is Gary Cahill, 60 caps. I'd have to check, but I can't remember the last time that England went to a World Cup with no appearance or no cap. What's the word? No player who's played less than 100 games. There must have been one in every squad, as far as I can remember, for a good while. But it is what it is. Welbeck is England's top goal scorer, 16 goals for him. Kane has a good strike record, but doesn't have, I think he only has 14. So we're quite low on goals in the England team. And goals win you games, don't they? Let's face it. All three goalkeepers registered for England. That's Jack Butland, I was going to say Tom Heaton then, Nick Pope and Jordan Pickford. Between them, 12 caps between three goalkeepers. There's no doubting they're good goalkeepers. I still think Butland, even though I'm a Stoke fan, I still believe Butland is England's best goalkeeper. They just don't have enough international experience, and I don't think that any of them have played Champions League football, so they don't have that. That's not to say that they're going to cost us, but I think it's symbolic of the England side, in that we don't have probably enough experience in any area of the squad. 60 caps as your leading appearance maker is pretty low, but we should have enough. Harry Kane's had another phenomenal season. The one season wonder continues, and maybe it's just a one career wonder or one decade. But yeah, we should have enough about us to get out of this group. I think that's as far as it will go, though. But you never stop believing. Never stop believing. Panama and Tunisia, very difficult for them. Obviously, Panama coming to it, first World Cup. They've got a lot of experience in the team. They've got Gabriel Gomez with 144 caps. A couple of good goal scorers as well in Blas Perez and Luis Tallada, both with 43 goals. So that's the difference you're dealing with in terms of appearances and goals. Panama edge England, or not just edge, destroy England on every level of that. Hopefully it won't matter. Tunisia have got a couple of, they've got Wabi Khazri, played for Sunderland, of course. He's got 12 goals for the nation. And their leading appearance maker, Ayman Mathlouthi, with 70 caps. It'll be an interesting Group G, I think. I hope England go through, but you wouldn't be surprised if they don't. And where does that leave us then? Group H, the final group. Poland, Senegal, Colombia and Japan. This one is wide open. I don't see apart from Colombia maybe might pull away. I see Poland and Colombia taking the top two places, with Senegal and Japan heading home. Early days. Reasons being Colombia, David Ospina with 86 caps, and Falcao, obviously 29 goals. Falcao, an international goal scorer. He should be able to take out Senegal and Japan. In Poland, obviously, they've got Błaszczykowski, 99 caps. He'll get 100 for the World Cup, and Lewandowski, 55 goals. So it's the two goal scorers in Falcao and Lewandowski that the other teams just do not have. Yes, Japan have Shinji Okazaki, leading appearance maker of 113 games, caps, appearances, whatever, and 50 goals, so a phenomenal strike rate. But Japan do play, or have played when Okazaki was playing, in the Asian qualifying tournaments. Now, they play a lot of under-strength sides compared to what you'd expect to play in Europe. You're not going to take 50 goals away from him, certainly not, but is that the same kind of, Lewandowski's got 55. are his 55 of a more significant value than the 50 that Okazaki's got? Probably just about, but they've got a goal scorer, but I just don't think they've got enough anywhere else on the pitch. Senegal probably struggling for goals, but they've got some experience. Idrissa Gueye, their most experienced appearance maker, 61 caps for him, and Moussa Sow with 18 goals. Sadio Mane just behind on 14. If Sadio Mane can reproduce his recent form for club, then he certainly gives Senegal a chance, and they've got Mame Biram Diouf as well, so happy days. And that's sort of the way I see it then. I think beyond that, going into the knockouts, it's a really open World Cup, this one. I don't think any side is coming into it in blistering form. I do think Brazil will probably win it just because they're going with a tried and tested formula. Argentina could be there as well. I mean, it's easy to list the favourites, isn't it? But my dark horse is Peru. Not to win it, but to go quite some distance. I think they might surprise a few teams, but we'll have to see. Let's move on to what we think about who I'm predicting to be the top goal scorer. You've got your usuals, haven't you? So, Leo Messi, Lewandowski, Harry Kane, Ronaldo, Griezmann, Neymar, Lukaku, Shaqiri, maybe, Suarez, and of course Mo Salah. There's plenty more players who could easily challenge for these kind of things. You don't have to. You don't need me to tell you who is going to be scoring goals in the World Cup. But my personal feeling is that Ronaldo will continue his swan song here and take this World Cup and set down this marker. I think he wants to end this career being better than Messi, and I think he's doing that just about. Messi's career is sort of, it's a bit Barcelona, it's a bit stagnated, but it's a difficult one. I personally, as well, it's not on the screen, lowest goal scorers in the entire tournament are Japan for me. I don't think they're going to score many goals, despite what I've just had about Okazaki. Had a bit of a difficult run up to the tournaments in terms of their friendlies, not scoring many goals, so that's my tip. And that's the World Cup. So obviously it gets underway, as I said, later today. Russia, Saudi Arabia, perhaps not the most exciting game, but it's the opening game of the World Cup. It's going to be fantastic. Do pop your comments on, let me know who you think will qualify if you disagree with me, or if you think I'm bang on, then do let me know that as well. Let me know who you think is going to finish top goal scorer, and any other tips that you might have, fantasy leagues. Maybe you've had a little bit of a flutter, who knows. But yeah, do pop a like on there for me as well, and subscribe if you're enjoying any kind of football content. We do Football Manager here. It's what we do. Are we there yet? Get on it. Many episodes of that still to come. But yeah, here's to a good World Cup. Hopefully in a month's time we'll be preparing ourselves for England's first World Cup final in some 50 odd years, and certainly the first in my lifetime, and we can go and take home the golden trophy. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you again on my next video. Goodbye.